I'm done, I got you on your knees. I'm stacking money, I'm getting to the cheese. I'm done with the games on my Q's and my P's. I'm just a bad bitch, I do it with ease. You late with a dog, do you get up with?
Alright, so what I have here is sirloin tip thins that I got from Walmart. Once I get them cleaned and everything, I'll cut them in thin slices. To go ahead and clean the meat, I'm going to put some lukewarm water in a bowl and put some salt in it. And this is just to get all of that dirt off of it. I'll let that sit in the water for about 20 minutes. So that's going to sit in the water for about 20 minutes. And after that, I'll come back and we'll clean them. But I'm just going to let that sit in the water and let all of that dirt and gunk and all of that come off. And then I'll come back and actually clean them individually. Alright, while we're waiting for the steak to clean and while it's sitting in the salt water cleaning, we're going to go ahead and cut the vegetables up. So I have, or the peppers and onion, I have green pepper, I have a orange one that I had left from taco soup that I did, I have a yellow one, and I have a white onion. Alright, so you don't want to cut them too small. You can cut them as thin as you would like, but you don't want to cut them, you know, like in small cubes or anything. Well, I guess it's up to you how you want to do it though. Alright, and then I have my pan right next to that, and I'm going to put some butter in there so we can go ahead and saute it. And I'm using butter instead of oil because butter just makes everything taste better. So. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and throw those in. And I did de-seed them and wash them and everything off camera. And it's your preference if you want to use all these different colored peppers. I just prefer to do that because I just like the different colors. But, you know, the Chinese people, when they do it, they usually use just a green one most of the time. But it's up to you. Everybody have their way of cooking. Yours ain't mine and mine ain't yours, so. And I did use a lot of peppers because my husband, he loves bell peppers, and I'm actually fixing this for him and the kids. I can't eat this because I'm on a diet, so I'm eating spinach salad with no meat. I'm going to save the rest of this onion. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and throw those in with the butter and the peppers. And as you can see, I got those in there. And I'm just gonna let those simmer for a little bit. And then by the time we finish letting that simmer, we can go back to the meat and get to cleaning it and seasoning it. So I'll be back with you guys. All right, everyone, I'm back. This is how my peppers are looking after I've had them sauteing in some butter for a while. I did go ahead and cut the steak up into slices and rinse it off, clean it off, and I rinsed and cleaned this bowl and put them back in there so I can go ahead and get them seasoned. So that's how they look as of right now. And now I'm going to go ahead and season it and then put it in with the peppers. So these are the seasonings I will be using. We have garlic powder, black pepper, Creole seasoning, meat tenderizer, Worcestershire sauce. We have soy sauce, beef broth, minced garlic, and I got a substitution for ginger since they didn't have any, and salt. So let's get right into it. All right, so now it's time to get into seasoning the meat. So we are cooking pepper steak, so you want to make sure you get that pepper up in there. And I usually don't measure anything. I just go with my preferred taste. So that's what I'm doing. I just put a little bit of the meat tenderizer in there. I'm actually only going to use a pinch of salt, or two pinches of salt. Ginger, Worcestershire sauce, and like I said, it's how much you prefer to put in it. So I don't usually do any measurements. I just eyeball it. All right, Creole seasoning, garlic powder, or garlic pepper, I'm sorry. And as far as my broth and the soy sauce, I'll put that in while it's in the pot. So I'll go ahead and mix that in. All right. I'll move these veggies over to give my meat some room, and I'll turn the tent back up because I did turn it down to like simmer on low. All right, gonna let that brown on each side. All right, that meat is still browning. Majority of it has already browned, but I'm trying to get all of it to brown. And even if it don't all brown, I'm gonna try to make sure all of it browns. But even if all of it does not, it's gonna cook for a while anyways afterwards, so it's gonna fully cook through. But I just like to make sure that everything is cooked well right. Looking pretty good. Alright, so now I can go ahead and turn it down a little bit. So I did turn it up a little. I turned it up on 6 because it was cooking slow. I just turned it back down on medium, which is like 5. And I'm going to go ahead and mix those peppers into that. Alright, and as you can see, the meat made its own sauce. So I won't add a whole bunch of broth into it. Because if you can make your own broth or gravy from the meat that you're cooking, it's usually more flavorful, in my opinion. Alright, so now I'm going to add in some brown sugar, and that's just to balance out the taste. Or to balance out the flavor. I'm going to throw in some minced garlic, a little bit of onion powder, a little bit of soy sauce, and I'm going to put just a little bit more of that Worcestershire sauce. I like that. A bit of beef broth. And lastly, I'm going to use cornstarch. Some people use flour. Some people use cornstarch. It's up to you. That's the thickening. That's to thicken the sauce or thicken that gravy, depending on how you want it. And sometimes that cornstarch or flour will clump up like into little clumps as soon as you put it in the sauce. If you put it in hot water or hot sauce. So sometimes you can prevent that by putting it in a bowl and mixing it with cold water instead. But I mixed it in so you can't, there's no clumps. Alright, I think I'm going to add in just a little more pepper. Since this is pepper steak, I'm going to add in a little more pepper and garlic pepper. Alright, so I'm going to let that go ahead and simmer a little bit while I finish up with my rice. and my Hawaiian rolls and sweet peas, and I'll be back with the final look for you guys. Be right back. All right, you guys, and there is the finished look. I did not use instant rice. I just used the regular rice. We have some sweet peas and Hawaiian rolls with butter and parsley. Go ahead and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.